It's a new year and time to make some changes. Hello, lifers, and welcome to Life Lived Loud. It's a brand new year. Welcome to 2021. And I want to start off the year with I hate to call it a resolution, but my goal for this year, I have several goals, but my main goal is to lose weight. Now, yes, I know that 30 million people across America have made a New Year's resolution to lose weight. They're running out, joining gyms and buying exercise bikes, and they're going walking and doing all those things. But for me, it's a little bit different. I have been planning this since about August of last year. So it's not something that's just a New Year's resolution. This is something I've been thinking about and I've been strategizing about and trying to figure out what's best for me. And I'll tell you, losing weight for me is really a challenge, not only because I've already got a lot of weight, but because I've got some health issues that have continually set me back over the last 20 years. 20 years ago, I looked like this, and now I look like this. And so, it's one of those things where, yeah, if I just ate less and exercised, those rules will help anybody. But, again, not to be too much of a victim, but I have had a lot of physical problems and health problems that have created setbacks for me. The first and foremost was a heart condition called atrial fibrillation that stopped me from being able to ride my bike and go to the gym like I was doing in that picture. I've also had several health problems, including diabetes and sleep apnea. The diabetes started after a car accident. I got into a car accident 3 years ago and totaled my vehicle, and they gave me treatments that involved steroids. The steroids naturally jack your sugar way up, and normally that sugar will come back down. In an otherwise healthy person, those sugars will get back to normal, usually within a few days. But mine went way up and they stayed up. And so I was diagnosed with something called steroid-induced diabetes, and I've been diabetic ever since. So now I'm on medication for diabetes. I also inject insulin when my sugar gets too high. And so I've got a lot of things going on. And of course, when you become diabetic, gaining weight is another side effect of that. And so you go on and on and on, and the weight gets to a point where it's really scaring me. And of course, we've had the pandemic this year, and because of reduced social activity and activity in general, I've been hibernating. I'm overweight, I'm diabetic, I've got a heart condition. So I'm that guy that if I get infected with this disease, I'm likely to go straight to the hospital, straight to intensive care, straight onto a ventilator, and straight to a grave. And I don't want to be overly dramatic, but I've got a lot of strikes against me when it comes to COVID. So I've had to be super careful, and that has just added even more weight. So here I am. It's January 2021, and I'm sick of it. And again, I've been thinking about this and sort of scheming and plotting about the best solution for me to lose weight. And I will tell you that I have spoken with and gotten started with a bariatric surgeon who is ready to do a gastric bypass. And that's kind of the nuclear option for me. If everything fails and I can't take the weight off, then I'm probably going to go ahead and have this surgery, which will remove part of my stomach and part of my colon, and that will help me drop weight pretty dramatically. So again, it's a pretty serious option, and I'm comfortable with it, but I also want to give a more natural option a chance. And so that's what I'm getting started with today. Again, it's January 2021. There's no time like now to get started on a new program. And the program that I'm going to get started on is my own. I've tried different weight loss diets and programs in the past, and it's always the same story. You take some weight off, but it's rarely sustainable. I mean, there's always a handful of people who say, yeah, wow, it worked for me and I kept the weight off. But the vast majority of people don't keep the weight off. So what I'm trying to do is just make changes to my general diet that will promote weight loss. And I'm also going to start exercising more. And I'm really out of shape, and from where I'm at, from my starting point, it's going to take a little bit of time to kind of get me moving, get me up to speed on any kind of weight loss and exercise plan. So I'm talking about making baby steps and just doing things a little bit here, a little bit there, until I can start to build a little bit of momentum, and until I get my body to start acclimating to this new regimen. Again, as you get older, it gets harder to lose weight. Things tend to shock your body more. So the idea of just going cold turkey and going into some crazy weight loss and exercise, regime is going to create the best chance for failure. So I'm not going to be doing that. So what you're going to see is for a while, there's going to be kind of a hybrid. I'm going to continue to eat some of the old junky food and some of the comfort food and some of the things that I've been used to, so that I'm not shocking my system too harshly. But at the same time, I'm going to be step by step, day by day, replacing those junky things with more natural and more healthy options. And so I don't have a name for it. It's not a keto diet. It's not the Mediterranean diet. It's not the South Beach diet. Again, nothing against any of those. I've just been doing a lot of research, and I have, through that knowledge and understanding, made some decisions about what I'm going to start eating and what I'm going to start doing. So the three things that are going to happen starting now are, I'm going to start removing terrible things from my diet, which include processed foods. Probably the number one enemy for me is carbs. So we're definitely moving toward that keto or Atkins kind of end of the scale. But I don't want to call it one of those, because I'm not following one of those. I'm just doing my own assessment. And I know that carbs are my biggest downfall, my biggest enemy. Not only are they responsible for a lot of the fat and the body weight, but they're harming my liver. I know that my liver is in a condition called fatty liver right now, and it has been for a while. I'm fearful that I'm advancing that and creating more and more permanent damage to my liver. So the goal is to stop the carbs and stop putting these huge demands on my liver, so that it can kind of detox and dry out and work on healing itself. And the absolute best way to do that is to stop the sugars and the carbs. The second thing, of course, is to start exercising more. I'm going to start with just simple walks around the block, and I'll step that up gradually. I'll go around the block once, and then after a few days, I may double that to 2 times around the block. And then after that, I may expand the distance to maybe a walk around 2 blocks. And then after a while, I'll do 2 times around 2 blocks, and so on and so forth, until I start getting to a point where I'm getting a little bit of cardio and getting these muscles used to doing even that basic amount of walking, which again, at first is going to be tough because I haven't been doing it. I'm really out of shape. The last thing I'm going to do is change my method of purchasing food. And I'll tell you, I inherited this from my mother. My mother was a stocker-upper. She always had a pantry full of tons of food. The freezer was always packed with food. In fact, we usually had a second refrigerator and freezer somewhere in the house to hold all that overflow. Now we had a family of 6, so there were a lot of mouths to feed, and there was a reason why she would have to store a lot of food. But even into their retirement, when all the kids had left the nest and were out on their own, we'd go over there for dinner, and everything was just packed. She never stopped buying for a family of 6. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm one guy living alone with my dog, and yet I am stocked up for nuclear winter. I've got so much stuff, and a lot of it is just not good stuff for me. So 2 things I'm going to do. Number 1, today I'm going to go through my pantry, and I'm going to sort of cull out all the things that I don't want to eat, things that have carbs, things that aren't good for me, processed items. I'm going to just try to start removing as many of those things as I can, and I'm going to donate those. I'm going to put them on a table. I'm going to take a picture of them, and I'm going to put them on Craigslist. And if there's some family or if there's somebody that wants to come by and pick that stuff up, it's theirs. I don't want any money for it. I just want it out of my pantry so that I'm not tempted to eat it and use it, because I have this feeling that if it's there, I don't want it to go to waste, and I'll sneak it in. I'll say, well, let me just use this up. I won't buy any more to replace it, but I'm going to use it up so it doesn't go to waste. Well, the better way to get rid of it is not to eat it so it doesn't go to waste. The better way is to give it away so it doesn't go to waste, and that's what I'm going to do. But the next thing is, once I get my pantry and my refrigerator and my freezer kind of thinned down, I'm going to have to learn how to shop more frequently. And so I'm going to start working time into my day to go over to the grocery store, probably daily, maybe every other day. But the idea is to only buy enough food for that day, to kind of plan my meals, figure out what I'm going to have for that day, and then go buy the food for that day. And if I want to stock up, buy the food for the next day, but that's it. I don't want to have a refrigerator that's packed to the gills. I don't want to have a freezer that's packed to the gills, and I don't want to have a pantry that's just brimming with all this food, because all it does is lead to more and more eating. So I'm going to get into a habit of trying to buy food that I'm going to consume right away, and then leave the refrigerator empty. Again, it's going against decades of programming from my mother that you need to stock up, you need to be ready for a rainy day. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to work it into my schedule so that one of the things I do every morning or sometime during the day is go over to the grocery store or go to the fresh market or wherever, and pick out some foods for that day and let that be all I have available, so that I'm eating healthy foods, fresh foods, and I'm not eating a bunch of snacks that I've stockpiled because I went shopping and spent $200 in one shot, and now I've just got all this stuff. And with me, it's always like a countdown. I've got to eat all that till it's gone, and that just induces me to eat more and more food. So I'm going to quit buying it. I'm going to quit stocking up, and I'm going to just buy what I need for the short term. And that, I think, is probably the single best habit that I can break and change and create, is changing my shopping habit from stockpiling food to only buying the things I need for the next 24 to 48 hours. So with that said, I'm going to get started. Make sure, if you like this video, that you hit the like button and subscribe. Share it with friends if they're looking to diet or they're looking to lose weight. My channel is going to be about a lot of things, but right now the most important thing is getting started losing weight. But I'm hoping to have a lot of fun doing it. So subscribe, hit the like button, and hit that notification button so that you'll be able to see and hear about every new video that I post. And if you're joining me on this journey, then I would love to hear from you in the comments. But if you're a hater, if you got something negative to say and you want to criticize people, then quit wasting our time. Find some other channel. There's no place for you here. I'm just going to delete your comments, and it's not going to have any effect. So I welcome friends. I welcome the lifers who want to live, and the haters. You got to go find another home. So right now, I'm going to go clean out my pantry. So come along and let's get it done.